Hey people, welcome to another fine episode of Who's That Anime? Steve has just realised that we might be covering Steins Gate for the last 6 months and is like in, well, disarray.
Yeah, disarray, disbelief, discontent.
But the light at the end of the tunnel is shining, and we're almost there because this is the penultimate episode
Oh, don't.
of
No,
Steins
we,
Gate,
we can't. Oh, yes. Well, yes,
of the storyline.
yes. I don't have time to look up what it is again.
What penultimate? Oh, the
It's like the antepenultimate, the pre-antepenultimate, all
pre
that crap.
pre postnatal examination.
That's it.
That's the
That's
one.
the fourth last episode.
Unfortunately.
Um, Interestingly, like you said, the light is at the end of the tunnel. The light was obscured for maybe the first 10 to 15 minutes of this episode while I tried to reorient myself and figure out what the fuck had happened. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, no, I think it was pretty much the entire episode.
yeah, you're not wrong. Like, it took a long time for me to understand where this was. So today we're going to be talking about episodes 20 and 21. We left off episode 19 after Okabe's first failed attempt to try and stop Mayuri and Suzaha from blowing up in the time machine at the top of the radio building. Um, I
Yeah,
believe right at the end of that episode is literally just him putting the headset back on, saying he's going to do this as many times as it takes.
pretty much. He's got his desperate. I'm doing this till forever
Yep.
type shit, and then he puts it on, and then it fades, and he starts doing the time thing, but the numbers go all weird at the end of that episode. The
They
type, the
do.
date, and then start of this episode.
Oh, he's on a clock. He's on a massive clock.
Oh yeah, he's having his
He's having some sort of mental breakdown.
no,
Uh,
he's having his round table discussion with all his friends.
the 36,000th one or
36.
something like that.
I mean, that's about right, because I mean, by the end of this episode, you wonder how he's not fucking going insane.
Yeah, you wonder why he's not completely loopy. But then he's naked on a clock, on a giant clock.
They slowly disintegrated to that. He had his clothes on, he has his lab coat in the lab, and looks, and everyone's there. Karisu, Maho, everyone. And then he's like, "What? That doesn't feel right." And then he kind of like sees Karisu there, and she says something, and he's like, "What?" And then he's back in the lab, and then what? And then he's like standing on the clock with his suit on, and then it's like, what? He's like naked on the clock.
Yeah, it's all. Well, actually, to add to the confusion, then it start. Then I think the episode starts. It's like, oh, okay,
Uh,
we're getting into this
no, I think
because it doesn't do an intro in this one,
it does intro in this one.
does it?
It's intro. It's not in the next one because he's got
Oh, okay,
it's got too much work to do in the next one.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I think it is immediately after this then that the intro kicks in, and you're like, oh, great, I'm glad. What is happening?
He's
And then, of course, it doesn't become any clearer as soon as the as soon as the intro's over, because he wakes up in what seems like an abandoned building, hooked up to some medical equipment.
yeah. He's got like some monitors and shit on the go, and he wakes up and he's like, oh, what? And then falls out the bed. Much
Yeah,
much like one of I was hearing a story about Russia and the posers of Putin, and some guy who was in apparently in bed, like completely incapable of moving, managed to jump out a window and suicide.
oh wow,
Yeah,
it's one of those rare occasions where they just got enough of their motor function back
yeah, to fall out a window.
to do the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
yeah, nothing, not doesn't sound like a cover up at all. But now
No,
we mentioned that. I'm sorry, Steve. I might have endangered our lives. It might be after us.
well, I don't know, like reading the latest news is not encouraging for him either. So, but yeah, you're right. Like he's like hooked up to a bunch of medical equipment, and he falls out of bed, and then we realize like, oh, Okabe looks sallow and old and tired, and he's like, oh, why do I look like this? Oh no. And of course, at this point, I'm going to presume you were the same as I was. And it's like, I have no idea why you look like that.
Yeah,
This makes no sense to me.
I
And then he
thought
goes outside.
I thought he ended up in like the brainwashing clinic.
Oh, that yeah, okay.
Thought he ended up there, and but then he wanders outside into the stark reality of the future.
Yep.
But you also see Daru, I think, for a split second.
Do we?
I think he appears for a split second as
Oh, because he's woken up.
he's woken up because he gets a gun or something. Anyway,
Yeah.
you walk.
Then he's accosted by two guys in
Yeah,
biker helmets, which,
yeah.
as we know, is a very popular get up of the authoritarian regime looking out for him. So
Apparently, so yeah. So he's then kind of like asked for his identification number and stuff, and he's like, "What?" And then he's about to
It's
get
like-
shot.
yeah, he is.
Because they just deafened him because they just like put a shot past his ear.
Yeah,
That's
they're not fucking about.
well.
It turns out.
And then biker girl arrives and shoots him down.
Yeah, like in awesome style because it's like a total immediate headshot on the first one.
Yeah,
It's so good. It's a very cool action sequence.
yeah. And then she kind of reveals herself to be fuck.
You got it. You can do this.
Not Setsuka.
Nope.
Suzuha.
Yes, nailed it.
Why? I'm not getting that name these days. Anyway, it feels to be Suzuha. And he goes, Suzuha? And she's like, who the fuck are you?
She gets very angry and grabs him by the collar.
I don't
It's
know
like- it's pretty good. And eventually, you know, she's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, it's me, Okabe Rintaro."
yeah.
It's like, wait,
What?
no, it can't be you. You're dead.
Pretty much.
It's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
But
well,
of course, this is all very confusing because he has clearly not jumped back to the past
yeah, he's went to the future.
somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically she doesn't actually think he's dead. She's like, well, that's not right. And then she takes him down to this underground movement and shows him all the way along and didn't like blindfold or anything, didn't like check if he was brainwashed or anything like that, and takes him all the way
No.
into the secret base, and boom, out comes Daru walking down the stairs.
Skinny Daru.
Skinny Daru. He's lost half his body weight,
He has.
and he's like, "Ha! Don't you recognize me?" He's like, "Daru? Oh yes,
Yep,
you noob."
of course. Yeah. Yeah. I like the reveal of Daru. I think I'm pretty sure it's at this point where they start having the discussion about what's actually happened, because it turns out that Daru had been telling people that Okabe had died.
Mhm.
And Suzuha was like, "Well, that's what you told me," and he's like, "Well, I didn't lie. The Okabe I knew died that day, but he'd basically been captured by what you call them,
Peacemakers.
yeah, and they basically tortured him to a state of kind of not really aliveness, but body aliveness, but brain death, essentially.
yeah,
I
he's been-
suppose.
He's been in a coma for 11 years. It turns out.
Yep. since 2025. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
2036. We find out.
yeah.
Um,
Because
and of course,
he
oh,
does,
sorry, go ahead.
cause he does ask Daru that. So, what year is this, Daru? 2036. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, shit. I've overshot this by 25 years.
Yeah. Uh, and then I think they go into the explanation. Uh, and it seems like they transferred his consciousness from 2011 into his body. So
Yes. So presumably, because he does say that the time leap machine was behaving oddly the day he tried to leap back.
yeah,
So presumably it didn't actually do anything
yeah, it just recorded his brainwaves.
and didn't send them anywhere. At which point they managed to, I think he said, pull the information off of that hard drive
Yeah,
and upload that into Brain Dead Okabe
yeah,
in the future.
yeah. Like, I mean, that was like 25 years ago. To find the old computer. So,
Yeah.
um, there's a fact. I was just thinking about it when you were thinking about this episode. Do you ever play Soma?
Not to the point of knowing much about the story, but I take it it's a little bit like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's should play it. Should complete it, man.
I
It's
will because it's Steam Deck compatible, and when my Steam Deck arrives, whenever that happens, I'll actually need some games to play on it. So
well, yeah, yeah. Well, it's basically. I think the start of it kind of talks about it. You know, how you do the start and you go into the therapy and you're getting your kind of brainwaves recorded. I think that's,
it's ringing a bell actually.
and then
It's been a while since I've looked at it.
and then you wake up into the future, or you wake up in this weird place. Might have spoiled it there.
I'll still enjoy it.
That should be good.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting as a concept. Like I kind of like what's happened. Of course, the other people, it turns out, who have been the other people who knew that Okabe was actually alive, was Ferris and Ruka.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they
Ruka.
get the phone call, to go, hey, guess who's awake?
Yeah.
Holy shit! And they're out on I think it's what appears to be some sort of supply run or something like that with a crew of people,
Yeah. Yeah. They're right. Be
and they're extremely badass now.
extremely
Can we
badass.
talk about how badass they are? It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. They're pretty badass, but like Ferris is still going meow.
Oh yeah, right,
Meowster.
right now.
So-
Yeah, she absolutely has not stopped talking like that in 25 years.
And also still has like the weird cat ear kind of motif. So
She does.
it's like what? In an army suit.
In an army suit, which is maybe even more badass.
Yeah.
But Rukiko is like full on like long hair, total armored up and ready to go. It's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. She's got a code name, the Warrior.
The warrior. What's what's Ferris's code name again?
I don't remember.
It's I remember thinking that was good, but yeah, I did like it when he's like, "Oh, is the warrior with you?" It's like, "Oh yeah, Ruka's here."
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they find out and of course are super happy that he's awake and they're looking forward to seeing him. But then it turns like, so where are you? It's like, oh well, we're on that run you told us to go on. It's like, oh well, we never told you to
Yeah.
do that. It's like, oh shit,
Yeah. And it's
some bad stuff's about to go down.
yeah, a big missile flies out there.
It's the action is like exceptional. Like that the rocket is seen like coming out from like a dark alleyway as like this pinpoint of light, and then
Yeah.
it just sort of fly. It's really really cool. So yeah, like the last thing we hear from that call is the like them going, oh shit,
Yeah.
missile, and then nothing, and it's like, oh, we gotta go.
Yeah, big explosion.
So of course Suzuha and Daru are like, well, let's do this, and everyone's like, cocking their pistols and getting ready to go out the door, and Okabe's like, "Oh, I'm gonna come." And he's like, "No, you're not ready. You haven't used these muscles in 11 years, dude.
Yeah,
You're tired."
yeah. But he still comes.
He does. They throw him. Suzaha throws him a handgun. It's
Yeah,
like, thanks. It's like, yeah, maybe not the guy to give a gun to. Just
yeah. The only reason to give him a gun is so he can shoot himself.
incredible.
Uh,
So yeah, they get out there on a bike and a sort of a military style Humvee,
mhm.
trying to find the last location, and then we kind of cut back to the scene with Ruka and Ferris. It's like, well, what do we do? And Ferris is like, well, I think we just have to try and hold out, you know.
Yeah,
And Ruka's like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm going to provide a distraction, and you're all going to get out of here.
pretty much.
Well, I don't really like that idea. It's like, well, don't argue.
Yeah. So she
Don't
goes.
argue with the warrior.
Yeah, and then Ruka kind of just disappears and takes everyone down.
Oh, it's so fucking badass. She's like full on murdering fools with the sword.
Yeah, she gets her
It's really amazing.
full on training with the sword and that. And the other crew meet up with Ferris, and Ferris is like, "Oh wow, you're here! Wow, I haven't seen you in ages." And then it's like, "Where's Ruka?" "Oh yeah, we need to go and get her."
Shit.
It's
Yeah,
like,
we do. Although there is a point where I should admit as well, is like where she like Ruka like slashes up through someone, and like with the weight of that brings the pistol round and starts shooting somebody down as well. It's so good. Like for a show that doesn't do a lot of action, I think when they do it, it's really really well choreographed and very very cool.
yeah, it was a pretty good scene. Like, I was there's also the first scene you kind of ever seen like Ferris is actually truly upset when
That's right. She's genuinely like tearful
yeah,
on her reunion with Okabe or Kyoma.
yeah, and also
She always calls him.
yeah, but also the fact that when she referred to Ruka being left behind, she was
Yeah,
so wow, that's a weird look on her. Anyway,
yeah. So they go.
they go, and then it's like everyone's dead.
Yeah, I don't hear any combat noise.
Yeah, and they find Ruka.
Stood triumphantly over the corpses of 100 dudes.
Yeah, and then she sees Kyoma, and then falls over.
Yep. And I saw this fucking coming, and I'm angry about it. Because of course it turns out she has been shot several times.
Yeah,
Several times. I genuinely, this Brit definitely brought a bit of a tear to the eye. I don't know why this one more than any of the others, because like death is kind of a consistent part of this show between like Kurisa and Miuri and Suzaha. Suzaha, actually, that one was particularly difficult as well. I think like in the sort of where she gets sent back to the past and fails sort of thing, but
yeah,
this one, I think just the sort of the tone that it's taken is like, you know, it's like, oh, I'm so glad I said I just wanted to see you and wanted to see you alive, and now that I've done that, I don't need to worry anymore. It's like, oh, that's
yeah.
very sad.
And she's been designated lab member 006.
That immediately, like, of course, is she's like, maybe I can be a lab member now, and you're like, no, you already were, you always were.
Yeah, yeah.
I was saying that before he was saying that. And then, of course, really weirdly, she just dies. Like, in his arms.
Yeah. And then he's,
Ugh.
and then he's like, what? And then was and then they're back in the hideout.
Yeah.
And then Marvel.
I think they're well, I was going to say they've got Ruka on the slab in the base, and people are sort of coming over and very casually paying their respects.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird.
And then Okabe's just sitting in a cafeteria area or a meeting room of some sort with
Yeah.
desks. And Maho appears and goes, Yo,
Long time no see.
yep, I still look like a child. But, I don't mind that now.
I was going to say, she says something like, at my age, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Or at my age, you like have to think about your real problems.
Yeah.
It is weird. She's basically just like got slightly fairer hair than she did before. It's identical.
Yeah. Yeah. And then was it? She basically states, "Oh yeah, since like that time you disappeared," type thing is it's yeah. There's been so many deaths. It's kind of doesn't affect us the same as you. And then
Yeah.
he's like, "Ah, yeah, shit. Had my head in the sand for too long," type thing, and it's all my fault. I should have like listened to Suzaha, something. He says something like pretty much based all his fault, and then
Yeah.
Daria appears and goes, "You said that once before, like 11 years ago."
I've heard this defeatist bullshit
Yeah,
from you before.
yeah. And then he's like, "Right, well, I'm gonna go and fix it. So here's what we're gonna do. He's still got the time loop machine," and they're like, "Yeah." And
And what?
what? I'm gonna go back 11 years.
Well, first, a very quick conversation is I think originally we had always talked about the idea that it was a sort of a mental limitation
Yeah,
to how far back you could go. And I suppose it's not explicitly clear that that's not the case. But Maho has said that she has managed to make it so that it's more than 40 hours. It's 2 weeks now
yeah. She's managed
at a
to,
time.
yeah. So she's managed to also keep the synchronization for 2 weeks somehow.
Yeah.
And
I guess it's one of those things. It's never explicitly said that that's the way she's fixed it. Like, it almost sounded like it was more of a just a mechanical thing of like, oh, there were improvements in the process or whatever. But I think we're still under the assumption that, like you say, it's something about the synchronization more than anything else.
I mean, certainly he's planning to go back 11 years. And
Yes.
he's going back into his body, which is comatose for the last 11 years.
Yes, and I think they say it's something like 3,000 different leaps he has to make.
Yeah, over 3,000 leaps to go back 11 years. That's just 11 years.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And you're like, you crazy? You can't be doing that. It's like, well, I'm going to do it.
But he has to go back 25 years in total.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yes.
he does like 6,000, at least 6,000 leaps. More because that's only 22 years.
Good lord. So at this point, of course, is like, okay, well, if you're going to do this, you'll need someone to monitor you. And it turns out that sort of Amadeus is still there.
Yeah.
Kurisu is still there and operational, and in fact has actually been monitoring him while he's been unconscious this whole time in the coma too.
Yep. And she's complaining that he broke some of her monitors when he woke up.
That's right.
That's weird ass shit though. It's like, what? How's that going to work? So,
Yeah.
I think that's where it ends.
Yeah, I think it ends with him saying them having the conversation. It's like, how will I? You just need to convince me that you're from the future. He's like, all right, I've done that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it basically ends on that note of like the resolute. Well, let's fucking do this. I have some time leaps to do.
Yeah.
Like
I'm doing
a
it.
few of those.
I'm I don't know. There's like the time machine's sitting in the background.
Yeah, I did note that that might have been a thing. However, I do wonder how much further in the future, because it's 2036 that Suzuha comes from, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So there must be a point, like, because they do talk about like taking time to be operational. So I don't know. Like, it seems like it's like, hey, maybe just wait a few months
Yeah,
and
maybe. But
use
then,
the time machine.
but
Does that change too much potentially?
that changed it too much because I think there was a concern from Marvel was like him changing the timeline and affecting shit.
That's right. Actually, they did mention that. It's like, like you're about to do this so many thousand times, and you do know that any change could have a catastrophic effect on the realities. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, thanks for that. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the end of episode 20. Oh, I should have said the name of the episode. Actually, I forgot to mention is Rinascimento of the Unwavering Promise, Promised Rinascimento.
We'll just say the. Do we have to repeat
I like to, because that's what it says.
the episodes?
That's what it says.
They had to repeat the. That's like everyone so far has been this big complicated word, and we're going to use
This
it
of
twice.
this.
Yeah, this of this.
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 Yeah, the next one is this of this, this of this, and it's a different this of this.
This of
So-
this. If that
So
wasn't
how do
clear.
you? Yeah, as if that wasn't clear. How do you rate episode 20?
Certainly was a what the fuck
Yep.
moment, and it's like why, and then it's like oh that's why. Okay. Yeah, and then I don't know. I think it's a 9-ish, 8-ish.
I think this for me is the first 10 episode.
Oh, it's a 10. Yeah.
Yeah, this just nailed it for me. It was like total out of nowhere intrigue, amazing action sequences, genuine like heartfelt moments and good characterizations and reaffirmation of the plot with direction rather than more mystery for a change, which is kind of nice. Although we're about to see that there's a thing they have to figure out in the next episode
Yeah.
to make this whole work. But yeah, just it's the first episode of this where you're just like, I understand the stakes, I understand the characters, I understand everything that's kind of going on now. Like
Yeah.
the confines of the game are now the rules of the game are understood properly. So yeah, I like it.
Oh, really? I
It's
don't
good.
think the rules are
stuff.
defined properly yet.
Oh no, I'm sure we're about to add more to it in the next episode and potentially the next two, but I guess that the basic rule set is now like kind of well understood. Like we get to move. Here's how we're gonna. Here's the problem. Here's how we're gonna resolve that issue, and then once we've done that, we're gonna get a better chance at resolving the previous issue. So it's like yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like we're getting there rather than before when it just again felt that same sort of Okabe way of fuck. Just do the thing. Just do it this way because this is the thing I can think of right now. This is logical in the moment of the heat of my frustration and anger. We should do it this way, right? This'll fix it. No.
Sure.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like one of his previous solutions was to punch Moeka. So
That worked.
I mean, it did and it didn't. But
He got his answer he needed there.
he got the phone
Yeah, and found it wasn't.
and then couldn't make the change.
Yeah,
So,
and then he forced himself on her.
yeah. Oh god, that was an episode.
Yeah, but
Moving on.
he only did it to shut her up.
That is also true. Consent is important, folks.
Oh yeah,
Legitimately.
I mean he wasn't.
No,
He,
but yes.
yeah. But at the same time, he knew that she's fucked him over and had
Oh,
no time for it.
100%.
Yeah,
He that was an awkward, weird fight and not fight.
yeah. It was a
But
awkward moment.
it definitely was.
Yeah,
Moving on to episode 21, and as I promised, the amazing title, Rinascimento of Image Formation: Return of the Phoenix.
Return of the Phoenix. Wait, Return of the Phoenix?
Return of the
It
Phoenix.
didn't repeat itself.
It didn't. It didn't. And you're right. Like more often than not, it does do that. But I think it's weird. It almost does that every second episode. I don't understand why. But yeah, this episode, like we were saying, there's no intro to this episode. Like it just kind of cuts right past that with a bit of a montage of his extremely difficult journey to convincing Kurusu so many thousands of times that he is from the future.
No montage. It was just he did it twice. It jumps in, and he wakes up in the bed again, and he taps on the screen and goes, "Hi, I'm from the future. You've been monitoring me," type stuff. I was like, "What?" And then Ferris and Ruka is there. She's alive still.
That's right.
And then carry on.
That's that was genuinely nice to let them have a proper sort of a moment together.
Yeah. So
where someone's not dying.
Yeah. So then they.
He does have his sort of big words at that point where he's like, it's like our actions are important, and this is gonna be okay. We're all gonna fix this, and everything's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I think he says something just before he time loops back, and then I think he time loops back once more in another 2 weeks, and then
he does,
and then it kind of skips with like the time.
Yeah. It does it once again where he's like, you're about to say this and you're about to say this and I'm from the future and just listen to me. And then it kind of goes, oh, okay. So he then time leaps again. And then it kind of passes what is clearly several hundred attempts at time leaping because now Yuki's there and Suzuha has a little girl.
Yeah. The girl's there. And that's like the last one. It's like, so this is the last one. After 2 weeks from now, you'll be just about to get captured, and we're going to recover your body like yesterday, type thing.
Yeah.
I was like,
turns out they're going to be one day because it was like 15 days he was missing for.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and it's like or just on 14 days. It's like if we'd only found you a day sooner, this maybe wouldn't have been as much of a problem.
Yeah. So basically, it's the day he's about to get captured.
Yeah.
And he goes.
Because he has to be using a phone as well.
Yeah.
And the point we saw this before about that capturing where he gets captured is that the reason he was captured was that he refused to meet people at Rendezvous Point because he refused to put them in jeopardy and instead risked his own life.
Yeah. That's a key moment. So he does the thing and he does another time leap and he basically has some big bravado about being, we're going to do this. Yo, let's do it. And then throw him back. He's in like some weird corridor area. And he's like,
yeah, he wakes up at that moment where he was on the phone telling them that don't come.
Yeah. And then,
but of course, this time he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
How do I get out of this now?
Yeah. So he speaks to Amadeus and he goes, "Yo, Amadeus, help me here. I need to get out of this situation." And she was like, "What?" And then goes, "I don't have any time to explain. I'm from the future." And then she basically goes and says, "All right, well, going by what you're telling me, all these people have survived, so you know that they're not going to die." Type thing.
I have a bone to pick with that.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's true if they changes the past, though, right?
No.
Because potentially he could create a splinter reality where some of them die.
Yeah, but I don't think it's done that this time.
No, it doesn't, but it could have.
Could have. But
not that it would have mattered if he ultimately wipes out the route to that reality.
Yeah, so he's back there and he does that, and they go, "All right, well, they must be tracking me, so turn all your shit off." and everywhere else
Yeah.
turn their shit off and run around.
Shit on.
And there's like, I can't be doing that. I can't be sacrificing people. But they're going to be safe, and they're like, yeah, we're all on board. We're cool with this. And you got like Dario
Yep.
holding the phone in his mouth and driving the Humvee, and then all the others are kind of running around going, shh, and then you see Dr. Lesnar going, standing in the dark, in the shadow.
Yep.
You don't actually see his face.
The shadow.
You just see the lab coat. And the guys go, oh, we can't find him. We've lost contact with the target. Quick.
So we'll find his previous location.
Yeah.
It's like, but there's like everyone else is around now. They're just running around in circles.
Yeah. And then Lesnar goes, rinse roll.
I'll get you if it's the last thing I do.
I'll get you next time. Gotcha.
It was a little bit like that.
Yeah.
I did like that when Daru's on the phone. He's like, just like this is our job. Just let us do this bit, please.
Yeah.
Stop trying to control everything.
Yeah. Stop being a dick. And then it cuts back.
He runs very fast.
Yeah.
He runs very fast.
Like
He runs so fast, he breaks the barrier back to the 1980s and appears in the Aha Take On Me video very briefly.
He runs as fast as a flash and goes back to 2011, man.
Well, he's definitely in pencil drawing outline at one point.
Just at the end, but that's like what happened. That's happened before, and like
Yeah.
that's like cool. He's running really fast, and he breaks the time barrier. It's got the Speed Force behind him.
That'd have been good.
Not.
But anyway.
And then
Yeah, he does it. He gets back.
yeah, and runs through the door in the lab.
Yep. At the point he'd ran into the lab before, where it's Maho and Daru trying to just like be in the lab and sort things out. Like, you all right there? And he's like, fuck. And it's like, okay, we're gonna have to have a conversation here.
Yeah, he basically tells him to punch him in the fucking face really as hard as he can.
It's so good.
For all it.
It's so good.
For having his head in the sand. I had my head in the sand, and I need you to fucking wallop me into next Thursday.
Yeah, my appreciation of this scene is mainly the subtext, which is he's like, Daru, think of Suzuha. The fact she's dead. Come on, hit me with it. And he just kind of like, all right, like instead of hooking him, like just full on fist directly through face.
Yeah.
And he just like crumples and like rolls away into the corner. And there is a moment where she's like, oh, you've knocked him unconscious. And I was like, has he killed him? Has he got back this far only to be murdered by a punch that he told him to do?
Yeah.
That would have been so good.
He got up. He got up, and
He did. He's laughing. He's laughing like a loon.
like laughing loon, and has his like back arched back the way, and Mal's going, what the fuck's going on now? And Daru's like, yeah, baby, he's back.
It's he starts his whole Hohin Kyoma hand gestures and all that stuff, and Maho does kind of go like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I believe Daru's exact words, he goes, bitchin'.
Yeah. Fucking.
He's just loving it. He's like, our leader's back. Our real leader's finally back.
Yeah. And then Mal was like, what? And then he just hurls insult at her like, yo, assistant, get me my lab
No,
coat.
he calls her Lilliputian. And she's like, well, I don't like this very much. He's like, yes. And he's like, as soon as I put on this lab coat, everything comes into view correctly. Time to do some shit like I used to.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah, he's super into it. Again, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Which is great.
He's back to his insane cell. But then I'm not surprised because he's gone and done like what? So was it 3,000 to do 11 leaps to 11 years, right? So
well, I mean, we can figure this out, right? So it was 25 years he needed to go back.
Yeah. and it's 52 weeks in a year.
He had to do. Maybe it wasn't as many as that actually.
Sure, it says 3,000. Maybe it's 3,000 in total.
No, because 25 years times. Hang on. 25 times 52
Uh-huh.
divided by, which would then give you the total number of weeks
Mm-hmm.
in 25 years, divided by 2 is 650 jumps.
Oh, it's 650.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right.
Maybe it was 300 jumps. And then it was another 300 odd.
Maybe. Anyway, so yeah, he's done a lot of jumps, man. That's a lot of time traveling to fuck with your brain.
It's significant.
Yeah.
Although, we should probably think here is that the whole punch is the awakening, right? That's it.
Yeah, he asked him to punch
That
him.
was that. I need you to kill Okabe and and let Kiyoma take over.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that? And then divide by 2. 650.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, yeah, and that was it. To kill Kiyoma and let things go. And then, so he then calls for the other lab members to come, Ruka and Ferris, and they are like, "Whoa, what's up?" And then he's like, "Ha, I am Okabe," type thing, or has a glint in his eye, and they're like, "Oh shit, he's back."
Yep. Ferris is particularly happy about it.
Yeah, yeah, and seeing Ferris.
Yep.
And then
She is like a weird extension of his insanity, I'm sure.
yes, yes, very much so, I believe. So, and then he's like, right, well, there's not going to be any cell signal soon, or it's been cut off now. It should be cut off by now.
Yeah, it's already been cut off because of X reason, which is attack helicopters are coming, yo.
Yeah, and so they're going to use payphones to communicate, and she's like, I've masked the horde of followers or something. I don't know where she went off.
Hey,
and did.
Daru, fucking get on the hacking. And then it sort of returns to that situation we had before where it's Ruka and Ferris helping Daru and
Just Ruka.
Maho. Is it just Ruka?
Yeah, because he tells Ruka, well, you got the most important job. You got to keep my assistants
That's right.
in line. Because he goes downstairs to Mr. Braun and goes, "Yo, Mr. Braun, Frederick Bronninson."
He's like, what's wrong with you? I thought we were done with this.
Pretty much. He's like, I thought you had it figured out, but now you're just going insane again. And he's like, well, we need to stop this DARPA business.
Yup.
And he's all right, cool. So he gets them on board. And then he's standing outside the radio building and gets a call from Ruka because Dara gets Amadeus back. And because he's like, oh, yeah, Lessinger's done this. And Amadeus has left a cryptic message here. And he's like, what?
I should say as well is that once Daru has completed the hack, there is a really great sound of him going, yeah. He's just like really loving the fact that he's done what he's done.
Yeah, man, he's the
It's so good.
He's the master hack.
He is the hack, yeah.
Yeah, and Maho's confused about Leskinger's involvement. Is that Leskinger? What?
Yeah, Leskinen is the whole thing. She's of course not really known
Yeah.
anything about it and has spent so much time with him. So.
Yeah. And then, so they get the call, and then he goes up to Mayuri's and Suzuha.
Do it.
Suzuha.
Yep, you got it.
Are kind of like in the prone position because Mayuri's been shot, but only grazed, but still losing a lot of blood.
Yep.
And then Lesnar appears out the doorway to the roof and goes, ha 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 ha, yeah, we did it, kind of thing, gloating in himself. And he was like, Kagari, you done well. Now, finish the job. And then Okabe appears I,
Kyoma appears.
yeah, Kiyoma, but he's like Rintaro, and what are you doing here?
Yep.
It's like, ha, I am here, and then gives Miuri an eye, and like a wee wink type thing,
The sparkly wink.
a
Yeah.
sparkly wink, and she goes, oh, Kiyoma.
Yep.
She recognizes the look and was like, oh, cool, and then Rinter, I think he has some talk with Leskner and the spiel, and then he's like, well, never mind, I'll get Kagari to kill y'all, and then
It's like, oh, I don't think Kagari will be doing that today.
yeah.
And then, like who we think is Kagari just turns around and holds an assault rifle to Leskin, and he's like, "Whoa, wait, Rintaro, what's going on?"
Yeah, and what the, you won't get away with this type thing.
Oh, but I might.
Oh, maybe. And then he gets like cattle prodded because I think Molika shows her face.
Yeah, it turns out, yep, it's Moika, and that they had subdued Kagari earlier, to do the switch out.
Yeah, and Mr. Braun's been injured. He got beaten up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Kagari is probably not not an easy person to stop. It would turn out she did cut off a guy's head with her hand. So
Yeah, she did certainly chop someone's head off in
yeah,
episode last week.
yeah.
Episode
So of course
80?
we're now at the situation. I think it was 18.
No,
We're now at the situation where,
no, our episode 80.
well, season 7, episode 24. You mean?
Act 24.
Fuck. Yeah. So, but we're now at this point where we've been before, where there's time now for them to get into the time machine and go, and Mary's like, don't try to stop me, and he's like, aha, on the contrary, lab member 002, I need you to go and like make sure that Project Arclight happens as it's supposed to. And she's like, what? And he's like, yes, now go.
I come from the
It's like,
future type thing.
Yep. And he's like, oh, okay, if you say so.
See you later. Yeah, and then they jump in it, and he's looking, he's like, oh, there's plenty of time. And then you kind of see a flash of like a camel helicopter going, oh, there it is. And then they're doing it, and then it suddenly appears over the horizon and goes,
Yep.
Because part of his spiel to Leskner is like, we got this building sorted out. There's a whole thing downstairs. We've got this building under our control. And you see,
we've predicted all this. You see.
Yeah, you see Judge Judy.
Oh yeah.
In the crowd.
That's right.
Yeah, I see Judge Judy in the crowd.
Shit.
Or whatever her name is, Judy Dench.
Judy Reyes. Dr. Judy Reyes.
Judy Reyes. Mexican.
And then...
Or Hispanic.
Well, yeah, most likely, with a name like Reyes.
Yeah.
But then...
Wait.
As you said, they... Wait, what?
What? Reyes, is that not like... the person from Aliens? Is she not like the one that goes out with the big grenade at the end?
Yeah, actually.
No, not quite.
Hang on.
Not played by a Hispanic either.
No, probably not. It was the 80s.
Yeah.
Let me see. Vasquez is the one you're thinking of.
Oh, Vasquez. Alright, yeah.
She was great.
Yeah.
She's one of the best characters in Aliens.
Definitely a strong female character.
As you were saying, helicopter comes over view, doors on the time machine are shutting. Okabe, or Kyoma, is like, wait, why is this happening? This is too early. It shouldn't be happening like this.
It shouldn't be happening.
Missile gets fired.
Yeah.
And then, boom.
Yeah.
Again.
Him and
holy shit.
Monica get blown away because it actually shows it from a different angle this time, rather than from the far side.
Yep.
and then that's the end of the episode.
Fuck.
It's like, the fuck? He did all this, and then did that? It was like 2 episodes of going in the future and coming back from the future by leaping, doing a time leap continuously
Yep.
until you've either broken yourself immensely or
Which I think we can be clear he absolutely has.
I mean, I don't know. I think he's more sane than what he was during the entire season.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, he's certainly back to his old self. He's recovered from his depression.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
it seems that way. He sees the light.
he does. And interestingly, like like you say, that's the end of it. We don't know what's happened. We don't know whether Suzuha and Mayuri have managed to make the time leap or not. What we do know, I suppose, is that they're getting closer to finding out how to change this.
But I would say they're getting closer. They're just got blown up again after like a whole 25 years leaping back. I don't know how
Oh
many.
yeah,
I don't know how many days
closer
that
than
take.
he was at the start of episode 20.
How many days would that take him to do that?
Yeah.
Um,
How do you rate this one?
I think it's staying at a 9 for me.
I think it dips to a 9 for me, but not by much. Like it's still really good. Like it's
Mhm.
really delivering on that promise that the previous episode set up. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching the last 2 episodes.
Yes. Yes. And then next week we'll find out the conclusion of this exciting escapade that's happened in the last 6 episodes.
6 months.
Yeah.
The culmination of 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm starting to think that this is sort of almost a little bit of a Haruhi situation where once you see the whole thing together,
Yeah.
it kind of
I don't know.
comes good.
Sort of. I don't know about the middle part. There's a lot of seem like filler episodes in this one.
Yeah,
I think they could
I
have
think that's fair.
maybe shortened it a bit. They didn't need to be
Yeah,
the full
so
24
many
episodes.
episodes.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think anything will ever have the turnaround that Haruhi had after season 2. So
It's hard. That movie was pretty good. Once you watch the
it's so-
seasons, not any good if you don't watch the seasons because it's like, oh, that's
no,
kind of
it's
interesting. But
absolutely meaningless.
then it's like, whoa, oh, that makes more sense now. That's why it's better.
I still, that is still the most expensive CD I bought. I bought that soundtrack.
Oh God, yeah, that's right. You did, yeah.
Did. And I've got the Blu-ray of the movie for Region 1 sitting in my basket on one of my lists on Amazon, even though I'll never be able to play it because it's Region 1. So oh well.
Sure, you'll find a way.
One of these days, I am very seriously considering buying a multi-region Blu-ray player because
It's easier.
although it's also mental that that's still a thing. But
Well, I don't know what it's all about. Gouging money out of people, or actually just keeping copyright easier to
it's
understand.
licensing, I think, more specifically, which is annoying. The bit that annoys me more is when it's like, oh, this was only ever released here. It's like, no, that's not okay. Like, just figure a way for it to be here, please, or let me just pay for it. God damn it!
Oh, there's a game that got released apparently. I can't remember what it was called, but it was done by the team that did like Yakuza.
Yakuza,
Yeah.
Like a Dragon. This is the one that's set in is it the 20s or something like that?
No, I think it's not it's not a Yakuza game. It's like a samurai game.
No, it's not. It's called Ishin.
Yeah. Is it the 20s?
Yeah, sorry. No, it's not. It's not the 20s. Ignore me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Dragon Ishin.
They do a remaster of it and bringing it back.
Yep.
And bring it to all regions.
It sounded pretty interesting from what I've heard about it.
It sounds like a Yakuza game for samurais.
Could be all right.
Don't know. Never played Yakuza.
They're good if you like Shenmue, which I did. They're better than Shenmue. So
Shenmue. Don't know. Oh, but the only like I was talking about last week, Fist of the North Star.
oh yeah,
That'll be a good game.
that's gonna be a quality purchase, that one.
Yeah. You're already dead.
I am just waiting on You're Already Dead being a
Oh,
part of this. It's gonna be amazing. I just want to know how they fit it in.
oh man, how I think did we talk about it on last week, but the series for like the 1980s series of Fist of the North Star was like
Uh-huh.
106
Oh yeah, we talked about
episodes,
this.
but like at least good 50 of them he has to have that line in it. And it's like, oh man, that's like you're already dead. It's like I don't need to hear that.
Say the line.
Say the
Say
line,
the line.
Bart. Say the line.
Too good.
uh,
Well, we've made it to the end of another episode,
mhm.
and we will be returning, as we mentioned, next week to discuss, my goodness, episodes 22 and 23, the final two episodes in Steins Gate Zero. Oh, been a long road.
Fine.
We have one more episode coming after that, though. We're going to cover the OVA from the season as well, just at the end. And then we're gonna do a bit of some spooky fun times for the Halloween month.
I mean, like that's what Steins Gate's all about. It's about ghosts, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
mostly.
ghost stories. We can revisit ghost stories because that's all about ghosts.
Who's That Anime is an anime podcast where we talk about anime.
No, it's
We did
not.
talk about ghost stories. You can find us at our home at anchor.fm/who's that anime. We can be found where all good podcasts can be found: Spotify, Audible, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, yada yada yada, all those different places. If you want to leave us a review with any of the podcasting software you have, 5 stars absolutely welcome. Anything less with some constructive criticism, absolutely welcome too. We don't make any cash or money in any way for this. We just talk about anime. So if you wanted to support us without leaving a review, or even after leaving a review, maybe tell a friend and get them to listen in too. We have a Facebook page, that's facebook.com/who's that anime, where we post the latest episode releases and the occasional anime meme. We have a Discord where you can find the link for that in the show notes. Colin and I occasionally like to play some video games. Colin at twitch.tv/couchfuel and myself at twitch.tv/Hail Payman. You can find the links for those in the show notes. There's also an archive of all the video game related fun and games there on youtube.com. If you look up for the channels Couchfuel and Hail Payman. We also have a YouTube channel for the podcast too, where we put up the video components of these episodes. I believe we are almost caught up now.
Yeah. So the current episode on YouTube should be the Steins Gates movie, which is just before we started Steins Gate Zero.
That's right. Yeah, we did the OVA
We didn't know of it.
for
Yeah.
yeah. So nearly caught up with exactly where we were.
Yeah.
Getting there.
So
It's
this.
been an arduous journey and a lot of work for you actually. So
Oh yeah. So we're there. We're going to have Steins Gate Zero. It'll be like what's how many episodes in this? 2014, something like that. 13, maybe 13.
maybe
So it'll be like the first 6 episodes, and then it'll be the Night Garden, which has been aired many months ago now.
Vampires in the Garden.
Yeah, that's the one.
Vampires in the Night Garden.
Vampires in the Night Garden. That's a totally different movie. And then and then you'll have like the next set of that, and then I suppose it'll just be maybe just making the Halloween special that we're doing episodic.
Yep. Gonna be good times.
Yeah,
Good times.
weekly.
So we have made it
Mm.
to the end of another episode. As we said, we will be back next week to discuss the final episodes of Steins Gate Zero. Whew.
Yeah.
Been a long road.
it's been a long road, and I don't know the rest of the song to Enterprise.
It's cool. It's cool.
And then yeah, it's been a long road, man. And like I said earlier, it was like this season is kind of weird in the sense that it kind of was interesting at the start, and then in the middle it was like, oh, okay, it's just making some character building desk, and then just kind of went, "Rrrr," and then
Yep.
2 episodes ago it went, Muri died, and it's like, wow.
As with the previous season, as soon as Mayuri sort of dies, then oh my god, stuff happens.
Okabe starts caring again because he just
Yeah.
doesn't care otherwise. It's like, oh, Muri's
Oh my
fine.
God.
It's fine. That's all I care about. Oh, she's dead. That's fuck.
Oh fuck! I'm gonna have to try again.
I can't do this again. Yeah,
Madness.
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 Ah, yes, sucks. Oh, anyway,
What?
Shrugs from madness.
Shrugs.
Shrugs from madness.
Shugs. Oh, Suggs.
Shrugs. That's his name.
I remember Suggs.
He came and he was on TV for a while as presenters and things. Came back for a bit.
Oh, forgot about Madness.
Yeah.
I'm okay to commit that back to there.
My house in the middle of the street. My house. It's in the middle of the street. I can't. Once again, I don't remember the lyrics of the song.
That's fine.
I am not on par today. Or I am. Anyway, I think we should cut that. We should do.
We'll be back.
We'll be back next week with more anime place and anime times, especially in Steins Gate.
Yes.
Steins Gate Zero is coming.
Yep.
That's been Who's at Anime with your host Stephen Collin.
We'll be back. Bye, folks.
Yeah, byes. Bye.